I'm in Dawlish, a seaside town in South Devon in the UK, and I've just walked up a long steep hill to the cemetery. I've never been here before. We're going to just have a little walk around and explore some of the memorials. The cemetery is not particularly old, about 160 years, and so we won't find any spectacularly old memorials, but let's see what's here. Modern memorials are all down here towards the front. A little bit older over here, some of these stones. In here I'm seeing a number of war graves. There's 3 here, 3 further down, 1 over there. Even a little town like Dawlish made a huge sacrifice in the wars. And at random here, this is Private W.P.G. Drew, Dorsetshire Regiment, 1941, just 18 years old. Here to F. Brooke, Able Seaman F. Brooke, HMS Kilmaine, 1920, aged 20 years. And close by we have S.C. Bowden, Guardsman, Coldstream Guards, 1919. Immediately behind that, it mentions J.H. Hill, her devoted husband, who lost his life in the sinking of Her Majesty's hospital ship Salter, 1917, and he was aged just 26. This is a little different. It's just a metal plate, cast or pressed steel plate. It's lost its name. It's just got the text there. Just a little bit different from the normal stones we find. This one here is Sir Robert Wishart, but the interesting bit is the symbols of the Freemasons there, compass and dividers. This one here is quite special, looking at the angel kneeling with the roses in her hand, and it's Joyce, or Jo, the wife of Jack Frederick Henry Best. Beside the other entrance at the far end of the cemetery, the one we didn't come in, is this huge slab of stone here, and the inscription said, well, on the left hand side, Francis Mark, youngest son of the late Can is the surname, but it says here he was a gold medalist in surgery and scholar in medicine and practiced in Dawlish for 30 years. He was the last resident surgeon of Guy's Hospital. One here, Nicholas John Barton Sykes-Balls. Sykes-Balls, Henry Sykes-Balls. One here in iron, John Vickery, aged 59 years, 1892. Up at the far end of the graveyard now, and this is obviously the older part. You see here the stones are 100 years plus old. This one for the engraving there with the 4 roses and the dove, peace dove, and the pointing finger. Nicely engraved. Here stands well above all the rest, and we'll have a look at the memorial on it. And it's Eliza Emily, wife of John F. Julian Coutance of Bedford Park, Chiswick, London. And down below there we have John F. Julian Coutance, FRCS, Hilda Annie of OUGH, 1900 to 1924. And we've got a likeness of her there, presumably in copper or brass. Up in the top corner here, we've got this very sorrowful angel standing in front of the cross. Nearby we have this figure with the finger pointing up to the sky and holding a cross in the left hand. And next to it is this other one with the angel, finger pointing upwards, holding a wreath in her left hand. Very nicely engraved on the stone here. Now you'll probably have noticed that it's raining and the skies look very threatening, but we'll press on and do a few more before we get washed out on this visit. Something a little different. At the top of the cross here we've got a wreath in some sort of metal, and down at the bottom here on the inscription, the background, if you notice, is actually an artist's palette with 3 brushes running through it. The inscription reads Kenneth Kemp, RBA, Croix de Guerre, one of the highest awards I believe you can get in France, second lieutenant, and a few other names beneath there. Memorial here where the person was determined to give something useful back. So we have a bird bath. The inscription is at the bottom underneath the grass. Next to it is this cross, but if you notice there is a strap running around it, wound around the cross and hanging down the front of it. Has something on it, but it's not easy to read at the moment. Very cleverly, very carefully carved. Here with this massive anchor and chain wound around the broken column. James McCausland has had his family coat of arms engraved on the stone here. There's a war grave here, something a little different. It's got the maple leaf on the top, and it's Private F. Baldu, the Canadian Forestry Corps. Died in 1918, aged 45. Well, I'm going to call that a day. Dawlish Cemetery is not a large cemetery, but there are things to see. It's pleasant enough, it's well looked after, well kept, and you can certainly spend some time here looking at the memorials. Beautiful spot on the hill here. Till the next time.